Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw.
Okay, well, it's what happens is when people send me the photos, I never look at them beforehand, so it's always a bit of a surprise. So the first one I have, okay, I'll describe it. Okay, so it's a graphic. So at the top, in like overlaid over plum, let's say plum. It looks almost like a Polaroid kind of graphic. It's a photo of you, beautiful hair, very nice glasses. It says Miss Liz, founder, creator. Oh, okay. Founder, creator of Miss Liz's TEA. Okay. And then next to that is an image. It says be a change maker. Oh, Liz, this is going to be great. Okay. Your name, your country, and your TEA message. And then underneath that, it says Tea Ambassadors. Become a voice for tea or TEA in your country with Miss Liz. Let's create a change for humanity, one country and voice at a time. Okay, what is going on here?
Well, you're actually sitting with the former peace ambassador for Canada. So what we've done is the project has closed, and what I'm doing is I'm taking my tea and I'm creating almost like a twin of what the peace project was doing. And I'm bringing the T. And for anybody that's listening, the T stands for Teaching Educational Awareness. So we teach from our past, we educate in the present, and we're aware that our futures can all change in the future or any given time. So we serve different kind of tea. We don't serve a beverage. We serve your story, your life, and your work.
Okay, my head is, okay, it's morning in Hong Kong. I'm 12 hours ahead of you.
And it's nighttime here.
Yeah, exactly. You just dropped these crazy ass bombs. Peace ambassador.
Well, a peace ambassador is just somebody that wants peace in the world, right? So we promote peace. We promote unity, connection, collaboration, joining, take the negative away and bring in some positive. And we get to meet people from different countries and we just do the peace.
That is amazing. Okay, so clearly we're falling in the same section of the library because, meeting different people and sharing goodness, kind of like the thing of the podcast. Okay, so who are you? Where did this come from?
I'm just an everyday woman that wants to make a difference with tea. And when you say tea, people think beverage right away, right? So their mind goes to the beverage. And I'm just like, okay, I got you hooked. Go get your glass of tea. But then when you come and you sit, you actually share your story, your work, and that's why I really wanted to reach out to you, Ram, is because what you do is exactly what I do, but you do it in a different way. You bring a different flavor, a different blend. And that's just like tea. We all have different flavors and blends. So I like to sit with different teas, but I like to go and reverse the table once in a while. So that's why I jump on other people's podcasts and I'm like, hello, let's serve tea together.
Yes. How did you land in that? I mean, Cornwall is not well known for being the epicenter of the United Nations. So,
well, Ram, I'm originally from Hearst, Ontario, so I'm a northern girl. I come from up north where it's cold, minus 50, right? I only moved to Cornwall in 2014. So this is a newbie for me, right? And I eventually started Miss Liz's Tea Parties in 2015, where we were doing community events. But then good old COVID came along and everybody got locked down. So what I did is I brought my community events to the virtual lands and I just serve the same thing. We just don't have the cakes and cookies and all of that good stuff, but we serve the same way.
Okay, so how do you meet people? Why don't you describe a little bit the world of what happens when you sit with people? And again, T is teaching educational awareness. Okay, so grassroots support, right, for one another. Where did that come from? Like, if we go back if we look at your biography as we're sitting down to write it, like, when did that start?
Well, Miss Liz's Tea Party started in 2015 in my home. I had a tea party with a bunch of women, and then I brought it into the community. One of my guests that was at my house said, "Can you do this in the community?" And I was like, "I don't know. Let's try it. If you don't try, you don't know." So I did that for a while, and then COVID came and we went virtual. But at my tea parties, we had guest speakers. So when you go to virtual land, you have a speaker, you have a guest that comes to your place, and you sit and you have a conversation. So it's just like going to grandma's house and spilling the beans, right? And saying, Grandma, this is what I'm doing. All of the goodness. I celebrated. I graduated. I got this win. So you're coming to my house and you're just serving a different win to a different person. But the guests, they find me. I do not look for that. There's a couple guests that I've reached out to, but most of my guests find me. They're all like, what you're doing is different and we want it. And, people just miss grandma's cooking. And you go to grandma's house, you get tea, you get cookies, you get a good meal, right? So that's all I do is I just give you that.
Okay, so I grew up in Montreal. Well, so born in Jerusalem in the desert. Parents moved to Montreal when I was 1, as a baby.
Ooh.
So, when you say it's minus 50, I go, okay, Montreal gets down to minus 40, sometimes minus 50. So I hear you. Hearst. How far north is Hearst?
It's about 14 hours from Montreal.
Okay.
Going up towards, a lot of people know North Bay, Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing. Well, Hearst is 1 hour from Kapuskasing, 3 hours from Timmins, 6 hours from North Bay. So it's way up there. It's just a little town.
So let's go back to you say you've met people from around the world kind of, now you're talking to a Montrealer living in Hong Kong, it is like the Chinatown that is as far away as you can get to. So describe some of the guests that you've had.
Oh, I've had different guests. I've had all walks of life on my tea time. I've had people who have been homeless, people who are producers and directors for Hollywood. I've had a lot of different flavors, a lot of authors, a lot of storytellers, peace ambassadors, of course, in season 1. I'm going to be going into season 5 in January. So,
wow. Nice.
Yeah. At the end of the year, I'll have 328 tea times and
Amazing.
67 different countries. So I've been to Ukraine.
Oh, wow.
Ukraine was my first show this year in season 4. And we actually had 3 survivors from Ukraine that actually came on and spoke. So
that is bonkers. Okay, for people who are listening, the link is going to be in the show notes. What's the link?
You can check out Miss Liz on my website, www.missliz's.com, or you can check out my YouTube channel, Miss Liz's Tea Time. You just check out Miss Liz Tea Time. I'm all over.
Miss Liz Tea Time. Miss Liz Tea Time. Say it again. Miss Liz.
Miss Liz Tea Time.
Love it. Okay. As a kid, are you the youngest, the middle, the eldest?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest. Okay. Why don't we talk about what it is inside you that makes you kind of bring people together? Why, what?
Oh my goodness. That? Good question.
Finally.
Yeah.
I'm just warming up. That's
a good question, because a lot of people ask me that question. What makes me do what I do? I come from a very abusive family, a very dysfunctional family, and I guess I never got that, so I want to give that to the world. I want to give the opposite of what I was given. And I'm just that rebel that my family's just like, you're the black sheep, you can't do anything, and here I am. I'm showing everybody I can. They're not going to define who I am. So I'm more of a change maker for, don't let your family, don't let your friends or your coworkers or anybody tell you what you can't be or what don't let them define you. Define yourself. And that's why I do what I do. But I mean, I never got that. I never got the peace. It was always trauma. It was always commotion and dysfunction. So I want peace in my life.
So in my history, I worked for the Ontario Human Rights Commission, and then I also worked for the Canadian Human Rights Foundation. And then we would often have delegates come to conferences and then them look at Canada and say, come on, you're Canadian. What kind of human rights problems are there here? I can see your face. I can see your face. They'd be like, but of course, it's kind of like, because in there, on the externally, if you're comparing it to say, Cambodia or Sudan or something, some people are going to be like, whoa, that's the easy to spot, right? So why don't you reveal a little bit? I mean, if you like, because, for example, like when you're bringing peace, talking about peace, how does that, like, what color, what shape, how does that form in your head?
Ooh.
Sometimes my questions make no sense, by the way.
No, because I'm a visionary, right? So when you say certain words, I'm kind of like colors and flows, and I don't want to say a rainbow because I'm really frustrated with a rainbow lately. Almost like a marble
Mm-hmm.
countertop. You know how it flows, and it just kind of, it's like the tea. It flows. The water flows. And like you said, Rem, I didn't realize that we had so much in common because I worked with three guys from India as the International Human Rights Commission and Federation secretary for in 2020. And there's just so much that, the
Right,
universe,
yeah,
I
that's what
kind
I
of think,
mean.
kind of just pulled us together. Like, I'm just like, what? Really? But it's
Oh
true.
man.
When you talk about Canada, a lot of people will say, "Well, it's the most peaceful country in the world." And I tell this to everybody. Everybody's like, "Oh, I want to come to Canada," especially when I was a peace ambassador. A lot of my peace ambassadors that were in different countries like Pakistan, India, um, Africa, they were all like, "Oh, I want to come to Canada." I'm like,
Uh,
you don't, because we're selling a false dream to everybody. You know,
okay.
we have our own issues here. We have our own political issues that need to be fixed. And they're coming in and they're giving them this freebie, but then after a couple of years they're saying, "Well, you figure it out now."
Yeah. And it's a hard place to live.
It is. It's really hard. And we really got to start just bringing the truth to the table.
Mm.
Canada has its issues just like the next country, but when I look at countries, I don't like to compare countries, because when I look at countries I see one big world. We're all united. We're all brothers and sisters. Like, I look at my male and female as brothers and sisters, as
Mm-hmm.
a united family. We need to start uniting, because when we compare and we divide, we're actually causing corruption, because we're saying, "Well, no, our country's better, this country's better, that," and then we start getting all of this division, and I don't like it. I'm just like, no, come and have a cup of tea and let's settle down, and grab a cookie,
Mm.
stay a while, but let's stop with the division. There's so much of it, but we need to start bringing the truth to the table, Ram, because a lot of people,
Okay.
Canada, they say, it's a good country. I'm a Canadian. I've been born and raised in
Yeah.
Canada, so I see how much Canada has changed. 20 years ago, people said we had issues. We have issues now. 20 years ago, we were more united. We were more connected. And that's what I do with my work, is I'm trying to bring back that barter and trade. You bring me the sugar, I bring you the flour, and let's make a cake. You know, let's stop with that. You bought my sugar last week. You need to pay it back tomorrow. Like, like.
You're funny. You're funny.
But that's just the way I look at it.
Life is breakfast. Should we go on to the next question? No, sorry.
Sure,
Next
go
question.
ahead.
The next photo.
So yeah, so I think peace looks like a marble table for me. Like, I know people out there might be thinking Miss Liz is weird, but you know what? A marble table makes good donuts and makes good pastry because it's cold, and you
You
have
are
to
so
heat it up,
funny.
right?
It makes
I
good
just see things
donuts.
differently. I'm just like
I
this.
love it.
So, is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So, if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.